There are so many project and task management tools out there that I think it can be really interesting to look at the way different tools approach various aspects and needs of managing projects and tasks. In this video, I wanted to share about Morningmate, which is an all-in-one collaboration and task management platform, and compare it to Notion. I'll be covering what is Morningmate and a side-by-side comparison of different features like projects, tasks, and collaboration. If you find this video useful, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Let's first start with what is Morningmate. If you've been following my channel, you're all most likely familiar with Notion, so I thought I would give some background about Morningmate. Morningmate was actually founded back in 2015 with a goal to create a collaboration platform that anyone could use, whether you're tech savvy or not. It's actually known as flow.team in the Asian market, and it's one of the top collaboration tools in South Korea, used by major companies like Samsung, Hyundai, and BMW. So while it might be flying under the radar in English-speaking countries, it's already proven itself with some pretty big teams. It's a platform that combines multiple tools like calendar, chat, task manager, all in one to accommodate teams working on various projects and tasks. Let's first go over the look and feel of both Morningmate and Notion. So Morningmate has a very colorful style with everything already organized in the sidebar, with various widgets in the home page so you can see your requested tasks, your projects, chats, your events, and you can even add more widgets to the front page. And I really like the various colors that you can add, as well as the different pictures and all kinds of widgets to personalize your home page. You can also see that all of the projects and tasks, Gantt chart, calendar, files, bookmarks, they're all in the sidebar here, so there's no real need to set anything up, but you can immediately get started with using it. Notion, on the other hand, when you first open it up, you're going to be greeted with a pretty empty page. For example, this getting started guide and a to-do list like this. So I would say that compared to Morningmate, it's a lot more of a minimal style. The idea is that you're going to build it out to your own needs. And if you go to your home, it's also quite minimal. You can see your recently visited, learn upcoming events, and things like that. But as you can see, the number of widgets is pretty limited for Notion. Next, let's compare projects. In Morningmate, projects are the most important element inside of the whole platform. So everything revolves around projects. So if you click new project here, you can start with a blank project. And I'm going to title this one sample project. You can choose what kind of default tab that you want, whether that's feed, table, Gantt chart, calendar, files. I'm going to stick to feed. Then you can also have a public project and have various settings for the permissions as well. And then I can click create project. So once that's created, you'll see that there's already a project manager here. And in the table, you'll see a place to add various tasks. And then you can also see various views like Gantt chart, calendar, files, activity, and insights. And what's cool is that even the calendar part, you can actually add meeting events and things like that through the calendars. It's really an all-in-one workspace for that particular project. If you want to add any kind of task, it has to go through the project. So as you can see in the dashboard, the tasks are all tied to each of the projects, and you can also organize your projects into different project folders depending on the departments. So compared to Notion, there's a lot more structure in that way, that projects are really the central part of Morningmate, and you can have all of your participants for that particular project, organize events, organize your tasks, and so on. On the other hand, in Notion, if you download the projects template, it's very basic and you will have to do some customization. So for example, if I open up the quarterly sales planning, you'll see that there's not much in here, but you can also at the same time create a lot inside of here if that's what you need. The idea with Notion is that you add what you need instead of having everything set up in advance. So for example, you can add your own feed view here like this if you want. You can add your own calendar view database if you need that in each of the projects. Or if you don't need all of those features in each individual project, then this might be enough for your needs. So in that sense, Notion has a lot more flexibility with the way that you approach your projects. Next, let's talk about the task management. So as I mentioned, every project has task lists inside of it. So you cannot create a task outside of a project. which might seem limiting, but at the same time, it provides a really clear structure in Morningmate. So if I'm in the sales management here, you'll notice that the tasks inside can be grouped like this, and you can also add subtasks inside. With the statuses, you can also see that there's various status options. You can edit the status names to be customized. You can also see various other properties that you can add here, and you can always customize it with property settings and see everything that's available here. And if you want a consolidated view of the tasks, you can click here to see all of the tasks that are currently assigned to you so that you can see it across different projects. So if I click this one, you can see that I can go to this project like this, and you can see the project name up here. And all of the sidebar items are ways to see everything in one view. So even the Gantt chart calendar, so if you had multiple events across different projects, you can also see that. So you can again go to this project, which is part of website redesign. I like that although everything is connected to projects, you still can see all of your tasks in one place. In Notion, you can create a task tracker database, but it is a lot more flexible than inside of Morningmate. For example, if you see this improve website copy, you'll notice that this one is not necessarily tagged to any project. So if you wanted to add that connection to a project, you can click plus add a property and add a relation and choose projects, two-way relation, add a relation, and then I can tag it to a project. So you have more flexibility on how you want to connect it to projects, how you want the task tracker to look like. And if you go to Notion Home, you can see all of the tasks assigned to you inside of one place. One also element of Notion with the tasks is that you can also create sprint boards and sprints from a task type database. So if you are looking to organize your tasks in a sprint-based system, then Notion does have that kind of structure available as well. Next, let's cover collaboration features. In Morningmate, there's a lot of collaboration features. For example, you can actually have a chat inside of here with different people in your company, and this might eliminate the need for other tools that you use for chatting. If you click the settings here, you can also translate to various languages for your messages and posts. So this can also be useful if you're working across international team members. Then if we go to a project, so I'm going to go to my sales and management, and if I go to my feed here, so if I click translate, you can see that it's translated the content of this task into Spanish, which is what I had set it to. And you can also click chat here to create a project chat room. So that can also be useful if you're working with other team members and you need a chat space. Another collaborative feature is that if I go to calendar here and I click this, I can already add a video conference. And if I post this, then already in the feed here, you can see how many are going and how many are not, like this, which I think is really useful. In Notion for collaboration, there's quite a lot you can do. You can see your inbox here in case that there's any app mentions or page activity. You can also add comments here, and you can of course add reactions and so on. It's just that there are no actual chats inside of Notion, but you can definitely add comments and interact with your team members that way. You can also change a page into a mode called suggest edits, and when you do that, if you add more text, it's going to appear like this, and then you can approve that later. So that's another cool collaborative feature for typing inside of Notion. And another thing with Notion is that you can easily share pages as a web page. So if you click publish here, it becomes a website. So I think that for collaboration, this can be really useful. So you can easily send different Notion pages to various people, either inside or outside your organization. And there's also additional apps that you can download for calendar and mail if your team wants to work exclusively in Notion. Next, let's talk about AI features. So in Notion, especially with the new Notion Agent update, I would say that it's very impressive what Notion Agent can do. So for example, you can open up your Notion Agent chat and just start asking it to even create pages inside of here, ask it to analyze various things. And it's a very seamless experience to use Notion AI. So if I'm here, I can also just type / commands to access AI meeting notes, AI blocks, and so on. You can go to Notion AI here to chat directly with Notion AI. You can also add instructions pages so that it retains information, and you can choose what kind of AI model is being used. On the other hand, with Morningmate, there's also AI inside of Morningmate, but I think that it's a little bit more structured, and in some ways for non-technical users, it might be easier to use because there's not so many things you can interact with, like the instruction pages and asking it to create whole dashboards and things like that. But you can do things like search your AI tasks. So if I'm in tasks here and I click the search button, I can do an AI search to find high priority tasks to be completed by this month. You can also open up a task, and if I click the edit button here, do AI generation inside of here. And I can also create projects with AI. So generating a template with AI, you can type what you want. So for example, project for managing a new product launch. And then if I click enter, I want the content feed as the main thing. And then I can click here to create that project. I think that both are solid tools for different needs. For non-technical teams, Morningmate could be an option to consider since it has minimal setup and even one-to-one onboarding. I like that it also has a chat option and translation feature for international teams. Notion is great if you value the minimal style, customizability, and ability to mold the tool exactly to your own needs. If you're interested in Morningmate, who's the sponsor of today's video, be sure to check the link in the description to start a free 30-day trial, including an onboarding service. Let me know your thoughts on Morningmate versus Notion, and I hope to see you all in the next video.